All right. First, can we just? I cannot with him. All right. I have stuff. I have stuff that we're going to talk about today. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So, magic, miracles, overflow, all of the things. Holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. So, Claire's here. Okay, amazing. I have an hour that I have to play here. So I'm curious how long this will go, but I have this stuff, this transmission that I want to give to this whole group here. Following up on the post that I shared on my personal page, and then I copied it into Temple of Eros Sophia, and I made this beautiful Canva graphic because I really, I care about these graphics helping land these concepts. Hence, you will get to see my artistry today. But I want to make this fun and I want to make this land because this is really important. Guys, I just cracked massive codes. Massive shit just broke through. If there's ever a time to be getting on the bus with me, it's now. It's for real now. And it's really interesting because as I deepen consciously on this path, and what I mean by consciously is eyes open, fully responsible, fully present for what is, I really consciously went into entrepreneurship in a way that I was playing the game with integrity, in the sense that I wasn't holier than money. I wasn't rogue, right? I was part of a bigger movement. All of this started in 2021. And I think this is really important because in 2021 was when I had the desire for a 6-figure year. That's the first time. Before that, money it wasn't even a thing. I wanted stuff on here we're going to talk about, but I didn't care about money. I didn't care about the amount of money. I was very dissociated from what money actually was, to the point that it was a disservice, because there is an importance what we're doing when we are creating a business, or when we're creating a career, or when we're on this entrepreneurial path. It's not about the money. That's the thing. We're not doing it for the money, and we get to have money. So there's all of these little mind tricks. There's all of these things that we get to unlock. There's all of these codes that we get to crack when we understand what it is to be in the entrepreneurial game, not for the money, but to have money as the actual byproduct of everything that we're bringing forward. Because the second that we're focused on the money will stop coming. But there's tricks to all of this. So like I said, I started this journey in 2021. I started my business in 2017 for context. And when I started my business with the holier than money approach to all of it, I had money until suddenly I didn't. And that whole piece, there's so many different reasons why things happened the way it was, but it was to wake me up on this path. It was to wake me up to understand this greater mission of what we are doing as spiritual entrepreneurs, as feminine entrepreneurs, doing business through a body-based and energetics-led model. So this graphic that I'm going to go deep into you with has so many codes in it as to how to break through the whole, I need money, but I don't want to need money. I don't want to think about money. Why am I thinking about money? Because if we think about money, then the money doesn't come. At the same time, I do believe we need a foundation of understanding money wounds. And there's so many different programs, or there's two specifically. There's the Money Wounds program that's still free inside of this group right now, and it's not going to be free for much longer, so please take advantage and make sure you see it. It's inside the guide section here. It's called Money Wounds, Somatic Processing for Personal Power. And this work is so important because it's nervous system work. This entire game is nervous system work. And the nervous system, what we're working with when we're working with the nervous system, is light frequency moving through the body, through brain chemical reactions, neurons firing off, nerve endings that go through the whole body, being able to breathe down through the vagus nerve, which sits at the end of the cervix, to be able to bring this light, God frequency into every cell, every part of our being. So as we go deeper into regulation work, especially around money, we're holding more light in our body and our being. But again, the nervous system, the mind, and all of these things we tell ourselves that end us tripping out of the actual game. So one of the systems I've been really looking at, and a way to break this down and help people crack these codes, is looking at Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I'm curious in the comments, I can't see any comments right now, but I mean, anyone who went to college for any degree, I think you have to take Psych 101, and everyone learns Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs in Psych 101. So if you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. I also can't see comments. I'm emphasizing that. So what I want to break down today is I want to talk about these because this framework is so important. And I also want to say that Abraham Maslow was a man who, like, yes, there was like talk about God and faith and all of this stuff, especially as we get to the top, which is the self-actualization triangle portion of all of this. He does talk about God, he does talk about faith, but not to the degree of the importance that it is for us to have as entrepreneurs on this path. So I'm going to sip cacao and then we're going to go in. All right, who's ready for this? I'm so fucking excited. My one line and my Virgo loves this shit. I'm buzzing. Okay. Here we go. I am not a drawer, so bear with these graphics. I didn't know if this would be reversed, so I wanted to use symbols instead of words. This is our beautiful hierarchy of needs. So at the bottom of this pyramid, we have like physical needs, physiological needs, shelter, food, clothing, like warmth, water, right? Like things we need to physically survive on this planet. Very basic, very solid. This is what we need at the foundation of everything that we are building in life. Next, now this one's interesting, and this is where I challenge Maslow in a lot of ways. But ultimately, what this section of the pyramid is all about is physical safety. So I wanted to put like a gun with a no sign around it, but my art skills aren't that good, so I just put a peace sign. But essentially what we're getting to at this point is that we are able to regulate day to day. Now, where this gets interesting is I don't think, well, Maslow, in the time that he was bringing this forward, we didn't have Bessel van der Kolk, we didn't have Peter Levine, we didn't have a context for somatic healing, we didn't have a context for nervous system dysregulation in the sense of deep PTSD, CPTSD. We didn't have that kind of framework at the time that he developed this. So this is where I challenge, because what he'll talk about is like the need to be physically safe. He'll also put money in there, but I don't want to put money in there because we're playing a bigger game with money. We're not playing a small game with money. So the thing is when we're looking at the safety portion, there's a lot of us who have been conditioned to identify with our trauma. So now our identity is hooked into a nervous system response that is not present in this moment now. So our biggest responsibility, and it's so much simpler, it is so much simpler than we have been taught and that we have made it, is to be able to regulate ourselves and move past the trauma responses in the body. Now, I could go on a whole tangent about this because I've so much or had so much CPTSD, so many trauma responses. My whole life was like a constant reaction to life, like everything, the bracing and all of this shit. Like I could not breathe without having a trauma response. But the way that I moved past that was not by looking for the trauma to heal. It was by just focusing on regulation, not focusing on the problem that needed to be fixed, but focusing on the solution that I wanted to experience. This is everything. I was not looking for something to heal. When I stopped looking for the thing to heal and instead I created the physiological response that I wanted to experience day to day, everything shifted. But we're so conditioned to seek the why, to go back in the past, to comb through, to look, to keep digging. The way that I could do a whole nother graphic on this. Should I? I will. The way that I see this, guys, you guys are gonna love my stick figures. I gave this example talking to a friend who started to do like trauma work. This is gonna be absolutely ridiculous. All right. So we were talking about how okay, this is fun. All right, so this is a man and this is a microscope. So he can be going into this microscope and looking down and breaking out these cells, like looking into cells, looking into atoms, and there's this whole world of infinite downward stuff we can find forever and ever and ever and ever. Or he can go into a telescope and look out, this is the galaxy, into space and look further and further and further out forever. So you can go down within and find things forever, 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 forever. You can look way without and find things forever, 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 forever. As above, so below, as within, so without. When we understand the patterns of creation, we can understand how so many people just get lost in looking for the problem when we can just be present in the solution here. It doesn't mean this stuff doesn't exist. It doesn't mean this stuff doesn't exist. It just means energy flows where attention goes. So do you want to be focused on justifying, rationalizing, finding logic in why you are behaving the way you're behaving, or do you want to be present in your power to create the reality that you want to create? This is so important. So when we come back here, when we get beyond our physical needs are met and we come into this space, which is peace, which is nervous system regulation, what he actually talks about in the sphere is like non-violence, like not living in an abusive home, not living in war, like no physical threat to the body. That's what this is all about. But again, we live in spaces where we have so much, our body feels like it is constantly in danger, constantly in threat if we have any trauma in the body. So our responsibility here, once we have fed, clothed, sheltered, and watered ourselves, is to regulate our nervous systems, to find deep peace, personal power, to be the regulation in the world. That's what this is, okay? Good stuff. From here, these two bottom pieces are like, they're like basic human needs. Like we need these things to function. And as we start to move up, like, yes, these two blocks are for functioning, but these are higher function. These are like psychosocial functioning. So these are like physiological. We want our body fully alive, online, on the grid, on the map. This is the map. This is going to be a fun one. All right. You guys ready for this? I'm so excited for this. All right. Our body on the map, regulated, ready to play the game. From here, fully online, I'm here, I'm fed, I'm clothed, I'm sheltered, I'm nourished, I'm ready to go, I'm regulated. Now we work in this level, which is belonging. Now, when I started in 2021 on the conscious entrepreneurial path, this was my work. This was where I was stuck. Before this, I was completely rogue. I thought I was the only one doing what I was doing because in my reality, I was the only one that was doing what I was doing. But I also had the deepest sister wounds imaginable. Now, I had also done so much work on this. I want to be clear. In 2013, 2012, I found women's circles. I found a group of incredible spiritual women with like run by elders, like deep lineage, like elders down, top down. And I started to do deep healing around my sister wounds with this. And I have so many profound stories. Like the first time I spoke at like a council with the staff, like all this stuff came out of my mouth that I had no idea would come out. And it was all this sister wound stuff. So there was a period of time from 2013 to 2015 that was all focused on healing sister wounds. But it didn't translate to like business level. There was still something in me that what ended up happening when I came into this world of conscious entrepreneurs, and I had been doing what I had been doing and I've been having organic success, but again, it wasn't about the money, right? And it's not about the money, let me be clear, but I wasn't actually being a professional. I didn't have a full business model. I didn't understand how to grow a business. I was just winging it, bringing my service out there. I wasn't growing a business, right? So when I came into a world and saw all of these feminine entrepreneurs with successful, sustainable, and fulfilling businesses, doing business the way I was doing business, like intuitive and God-led, but making 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures a year, my sister wounds were triggered. I'll just leave it at that. But I also had all of these stories, like these women have not gone through what I have gone through. They didn't have to cultivate peace in their bodies the way I did. I have worked harder. I deserve more. All of this nonsense. Anyways, all of that went here into the belonging level of the hierarchy of needs. This is like what I want, really where I see like the priestess membership, which is not, there's big changes coming. All right, I'm going to pause on that. The priestess membership I see as these two spheres, like really supporting the the elevation and the nourishment in these two places. The belonging, and then we'll get to the esteem piece, but this is really what we're talking about today. We're gonna get there. So the belonging piece, when we understand that we are just a part of an organelle or an organism, we are an organelle inside of an organism, we are a part of a much bigger thing. We are no longer carrying the weight of all of the things. Wait, I have a vision for this. I have an image for this. When we understand, we are not just this little guy building these blocks of our vision. When we understand that we are a part of a greater whole, there is a collaboration, there is a collective effort, and it's not just us, it is divine driven, creator given, mission given to us through God, creator, source, whatever it is. It's so much bigger than us as an individual. This was also a big pill for me to swallow, because my whole life I had created so much spiritual activation, all of this stuff. There's so much ego that was entangled in all of this that my ego wouldn't let me connect to the belonging. And even though when I was young, right? So when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way up through my 20s, all I wanted was a mentor. And this world of coaching and mentorship isn't what it is now. And I didn't know it existed, period. I just knew I wanted a mentor. I just knew I wanted someone to calibrate to and help open my eyes and shoot things off of, ping pong out ideas and philosophies, and open my mind while calibrating my heart and my life. All I wanted was a mentor. And I do think when we look at the things that we wanted so much when we were younger, that's our calling. That's 100% our calling. It's who we are called to be, is through the desires of who we were when we were younger. And our whole life, our desires lead us to our becoming. So the belonging piece was understanding that I am not the only one that had the desires and the callings that I had, but I am the only one that can deliver it the way I meant to deliver it. And that's through my stories, through my lived experience. So to find myself, to surround myself with people that were equal power. Equal power. One of my mentors says equal power but different. This was everything. And there's different ways. If we pedestal someone, then we're not playing on the field of equal power. If we think we're above someone, we're not on the field of equal power. Our work is to literally expand our hearts into this belonging frequency, which is divine love, connection, all of these things. And that field itself is what creates magic and miracles when we're not driven by the ego, when we're driven by our piece of belonging. It's heart-centered work. And all of this, the stuff that I want to get into, the breakthroughs that I've had, the journey of the past 4 years, 4.5 years, has all been about thawing the heart, has all been about coming deep into not just loving other people, but loving myself, trusting myself, self-belief, self-trust, trusting God, coming back to trusting the divine after feeling so betrayed. That's kind of like the mythos, right? That's the whole journey, is feel betrayed and then come home. All of this stuff, but it's all heart work. All right, so belonging is essential. We need to feel like we have something to bring to life, something to bring to people. We need to feel that connection, that we belong to something greater than us. That's where we start to build esteem, which is up here. So belonging comes, and then we have esteem. So what I decided to draw for esteem are these little bricks with these little hands. Esteem comes from action. So even though everything I stand for is body-based and energetics-led, we have to take action. And where I see people go a little too far into the feminine because we don't like the masculine, right? We know we don't want to hustle. We know hustling is not the way. Even if we've hustled, even if we've had great success through hustling, our body knows, we know hustling is not the way. That's not it. So if we've been in corporate, or if we've been in some kind of hustle-like environment, and we've been traumatized by that environment, we tend to swing to the other side, especially as entrepreneurs, or if we've done this to ourselves in entrepreneurship, we can go too far into the feminine, and we can forget what it actually takes to build something. So the esteem part is everything, because the esteem comes from, we build our esteem from seeing what we actually have created, what we can create, what we create through aligned conscious effort. When we put our intention, our heart into something and we take an action, what comes from that builds esteem. And when we build enough esteem, because what esteem comes down to is how we feel about ourselves. That's what esteem is. How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel bad about yourself? I have this idea of creating this class. It'll probably go in the membership, called Paradox. And where I've emphasized so much that ultimately there is no good, bad, right, or wrong, I want to do a class about what's good, bad, right, and wrong. And just call it Paradox. To be completely paradoxical to everything that I put forward, because really getting people clear on the judgment hall is like a human thing. Good, bad, right, or wrong is a human thing. But then getting deeper into like philosophical, moral, and ethics of what good, bad, right, and wrong is on this like traditional sense. Like there's some fun in this, because when we're talking about esteem, and esteem is like, we want to feel good about ourselves. So how do we feel good about ourselves? We can't just feel good about ourselves by saying, okay, today I feel good about myself. I'm going to affirm that. I'm going to look in the mirror and say, I feel good about myself. That's it. And this is what I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to start feeling good about myself. Absolutely not. We have to do things. We have to start to take actions, build habits, build momentum, create. Like creation is what builds our esteem. So when we start to put momentum and intention and keep our word, right? Like our word is law, which is a really strong thing to start playing with. And it's so important too, because when we understand words, our spells, our language creates reality. When we actually take that as our responsibility, the esteem that we start to build when we take our word as something, as law, is a whole different level. And there's some stuff I'm going to say today that I haven't said before, and it's going to be really bold and ballsy, but we're here for it. Okay, so once the esteem is really solid, then we get to the top of the pyramid, which is self-actualization. And this is the mission I am here to serve. Wherever we are here, I help calibrate and align so we can get to this greater point of self-actualization. I put a star, because at this point, we are the star of our movie, the star of our reality. We are the center of all of it in this glowing, radiant storytelling sense. Okay, self-actualization, that's the goal. And when we're in this place of self-actualization, again, we have all of these things met, we have a solid foundation. So now we are here to just live, to just see what this life is made of, which is very different from living life to survive, to living life to what is this life made of? What am I made of? What can I do with this one life that I have? So most people are living life, even as like entrepreneurs, as creators, looking at a 2D map, very frustrated. This is frustration. I wish I could see comments, because I'm sure you guys are laughing at my my drawings, but this is my artistry. So here is a very frustrated human being looking at a two-dimensional map, trying to find their way to self-actualization, which does not exist on the 2D map. There is no system, strategy. There's no one way to get to where you want to be. There's no one way to your success. There's no one way, especially as, when we're interlinking soul fulfillment and entrepreneurial business success together, because that's what we're doing. There is no map you can follow to get there. There is no strategy that just works for all people. Here, do this. Go online, post this thing, sell this thing, do this program, do these sales, use a hook, right? Like it doesn't work like that. That's not the path, because all of this work is inside out. It's all inside out. It's all about our energetic mastery and our emotional intelligence. That's where all of this comes from. All of this comes from. So when we can start to understand that and stop giving our power away to something outside of us, we start to tap into the self-actualization field. This is an I, this is the divine, and this starts to go into building our creations. So, graphic number 4. Most people are here. Most people are here in this physical world, in this 3-dimensional world, looking at what is the next physical piece that I need to put to create this thing I want to create That's way bigger than I am. Way heavier than I am. Got a guy on a ladder here doing his work here. There is some heaviness to this. There is some heavy lifting to this process. To be down here and to be building from the bottom up is fucking exhausting. This is not the way. We are not men. We are not meant to lift blocks. No one here is going to get pissed off at that comment, but I would much rather a man be lifting cinder blocks for me than to be the one lifting the cinder blocks. This is not what I'm built for. I'm not built for this. I am built for laying on sheepskin, wearing silk, drinking cacao, and talking to you. This is what I'm built for. I am not built to build this incredible white brick warehouse loft that I dwell in with a copper bathtub. That was something a man did for me. He built in physical, material world a vision that I gave to him before we even met, to be honest. I need to come back because I got another story. That was one of my miracle stories that came through last week. So anyways, coming here, building from the bottom up, these really big things. These are our dreams. These are our visions. So we get this dream, we get this vision. And what most people want to do, what most women are doing at this point, is they don't trust divine guidance. We need to control. We need to micromanage at the bottom. We need to make sure that everything we're doing is safe, is solid, and there's nuance to this. But we need to be so focused. It's like we're going back to the microscope, right? It's like we're in the microscope making sure every single detail is perfect. And the amount of time it takes to build an energy and effort from this is insane. It's actually insane. There is another way. Top down, top down, top down, faith driven. So this is our I, the divine I, our highest self I, highest self mind up here. And the visionary casts down, transcends time, understands what the destination is, and then makes intuitive moves that allow, what is that game? It's like, is it Tetris? That allow the blocks to just fall into place gracefully in faith, in trust, in surrender, in alignment, while staying up here. This person doesn't trust to hold the vision from up here. They need to make sure every detail is safe and secure in order to create what they are creating. The person who can hold the energy up here, magic and miracles filter in and things align in timing in ways that just don't make sense. That don't make sense. This is self-actualization. This is how self-actualization works. So we start to exist in the spiritual realm across all timelines and all dimensions. Our identity becomes fixed on being a visionary, not a dreamer. Because the dreamer exists in a bubble that's not connected to the physical things. The dreamer is just here sleeping and dreaming. The visionary is alive and channeling and creating into reality. The dreamer is just imagining things. The visionary is creating, right? So this is so important. What has changed the game for me over the past 5 years? So 4.5 years. So I came into this world of coaching and mentorship and working at a higher level. I healed my sister wounds. I got over the fact that there were people making more than me that I thought I deserved more of because I had been through more things. I had struggled more down here and I worked so much harder to get to where I was and blah, blah, blah. Like all this ego shit. I got over that. I found my belonging. And then I started to build. I started to consciously take action to build the vision of my dreams, to build a business that was growing, not just to be a woman with a hobby of healing and coaching on the side, but to actually build a mentorship business that was growing because I was growing, because my skill set was developing, my frequency was amplifying, so I was able to hold more. All of this work is an inside out job. There's nothing that I did externally first. Everything was internally first. And I would get that, like, it's not just like, oh, I raised my frequency, because just raising your frequency, if you just raise your frequency, that doesn't mean you're stable and aligned enough to bring that frequency into matter, because matter is the densest part of our reality. So we can touch, we can have meditations, we can do Joe Dispenza's, like all of the things, right? We can reach these higher frequencies, but that does not mean we have the power to bring it into physical matter to start shaping and sculpting our reality. So the way that I define power, I define this in the currents class, which is inside of the membership. If you're not inside the membership, there's no question that, I mean, the overflow of value that's in there is absolutely insane. So I did this class over the summer. It was like a 5-part series called The Currents, Money, Sex, and Power. And when I define power through the lens of Eros Sophia, like my definition of power is our presence, like our ability to be here, and our sensual embodiment, not identified with our trauma, not in a reactive state, but present, and our responsibility, our ability to respond to what is in front of us, not react to what's in front of us, but to respond to what's in front of us, and our capacity to hold pressure. This is our power. And in order to grow in business, in mission, in money, in impact, we have to grow our power. Growing our power is not one and done. It's done through continuing to develop our esteem, to continue to take actions, create habits, rituals, to do the things that make us so uncomfortable. It's not about feeling safe. It's literally about how unsafe can I feel? How much can I stretch my capacity and calibrate to a new edge? How can I grow my power? That is the game I've been playing for 5 years, 4.5 years. When I started this, my first vision, all I wanted was a 6-figure year. That was the first thing that came through. A 7-figure year, cute, like stuff like that, like fine, but it didn't hit me as like the thing I wanted. I wanted consistent 5-figure months. I wanted 6-figure years. Like that's what it was. It took me 1.5 years until that actually hit physical reality. And I can tell you, like I said this recently in the creator class, which is another exclusive that's inside the Priestess membership, a 5-module mind-blowing session on being made in the image of God. I talk about this story extensively in there. But what I had to build in order for me to build the 6-figure year was reestablish my trust in self, reestablish my belief in self. And one of the things I did, this is really interesting. Now I could tell you all of the strategic things I did, and even if you did the same exact things I did, if your energy wasn't in the energy I was in when I did the things, it wouldn't work for you. This is why there's no one strategy, there's no one structure, there's no one system. It all has to be personalized. This is why I believe in the intimate settings. This is why the Exalt Mastermind is like the place to blow shit up, because you get the personalized guidance, systems, strategies, structures that work and serve your becoming. It's only in the individuation. It's only in the self-actualization that we actually get there. It's not by just taking another program. The programs are great when we understand that we're receiving messages from God through the programs. But the high-level transformations, the quantum shifts happen in mentorship when you are with someone that can hold this vision while you are wobbling down here. When you temporarily fall back down here and get stuck in the world of muggles, because we do. That's what being human is. We fall. And then sometimes we think to get back up, we have to climb the ladder. So we start trying to climb and scale instead of remembering that we exist here. So the power of mentorship and being in these high-level spaces is that you are held at a higher standard. So even when you forget and that wobble comes in and your ego wants to fight and flail and like push back and be like, no, that's not the way. It can't be energetic. I'm in a cult. That's a thing people say, right? Because we're up playing in this level. So it's like if we're playing in the realms of faith and spirituality and energetics, then it has to be a cult. It's so silly, but it's part of it, right? Like it's part of the fear that we have to overcome. Being in these spaces calibrates us to a higher standard. This is how I got to where I got to, because I didn't let myself fall back down. So I had the most miraculous journey. The first woman I found in like the high level coaching mentorship space, I knew I was meant to work with her. And the 3-month coaching container was $23,000. And I didn't know how much. I knew it was a multi-5-figure investment. I'd never spent 5 figures on anything. I might have spent thousands on like certain trainings. Like I think my somatic sex ed training was like just 5,000, right? And like various coaches and mentors, but nothing at that level. And I went all in and I knew it was the move. So this was June of 2021 to September. And I didn't have my first 6-figure year until 2023. So a year and a half until I hit the 6-figure year. And I remember someone asking me after I finished my 3 months with this woman, was it worth it? And this question hit me like, what? Like, how can you quantify this? It's not about one person. It's not about one mentor. It's not like putting your power. So that whole thing is putting your power. If you're waiting for a mentor or a person or a program to fix you, you're here. You're frustrated looking at a 2-dimensional map. You're forgetting that it's about you looking down at the journey. It's you connected to God and your self-actualization, putting that on the map, which creates the results. But if we're doing it backwards, if we're looking outside of ourselves, seeking someone to have the answers for us, that's not the game. But that's different from having someone that believes in you and can hold your vision when you wobble in your vision. Because I did not have the full conviction that I was going to do the thing. I didn't have the self-trust. I didn't have the esteem. And we're constantly building. Like there's constantly more esteem to be built. So it took a year and a half for me to have that first 6-figure year. If I had looked at those 3 months and I didn't have a 5-figure month and I spent $25,000 on this coach, if I looked at that as like, oh, I guess it's not going to work for me and I gave up, can you imagine where I would be? Like it doesn't work that way. I was so all in, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes. And in that, there's a pressure that builds in the system and then things start to explode. So consistent 6-figure months became a thing. Consistent 6-figure years, 5-figure months became a thing. And that's what I wanted. I wanted the sustainability. And then all of a sudden, my relationship that I was in last year was one of the greatest initiators of my life. Because what that did was it surfaced within me the depths of places that I was not choosing myself. So even when I say 2021 was when I started to choose myself, choose my dreams, choose my vision, it wasn't until this summer that I started to see where I was not actually fully choosing myself, where I was letting my standard fall a little bit. And there's that in itself, there's there's so much I could elaborate on that. But it was in seeing that, in that revealing, and then going through this massive, heartbreaking, agonizing, like devastating breakup process in the ritual of choosing myself. Now, also before this, there was this whole journey I went on this summer where I launched this art project called Unhinged because I could feel in my body there was something that still wasn't fully connected to my mission. Because the money piece, the growth piece, the momentum piece comes when we're fully embodied in our mission and we can hold the fullness of what we are here to serve. But something in me, I couldn't fully touch. There was something I had forgotten about it. There was some disconnection. We can call it a trauma, call it whatever you want. So I knew I had to ritualistically reclaim this part of myself. If you have been following what I have been sharing over the past 3 months, this ended up being a massive soul reclamation process. And it started when I had the intuition to do this art project called Unhinged. And I just did a storytelling event inside of Telegram, sharing some of the most bizarre things that I had lived through. Then I did this mastermind called Liberation. And that was one of the most profound, transformative spaces I've seen any of the women in my sphere go through. But that was the intention. The intention was liberation. So that's what these women got. Then I did Resurrection, which happened right when I ended my relationship. Right when I ended my relationship, I went into the resurrection process and led a group of women through this. Shortly after, these miracles started pouring in. Because what happens when we start to make these moves that are illogical, that are in full faith, these leaps of faith, is God sees us move, fortune favors the bold, and all of this stuff, all of these synchronicities started pouring in. And there was this moment in November, end of October, November, where it all came together and my story just, boom, all of it. Past, present, future, full coherence. It all made sense. I got the ending of a book that I had been waiting for the ending for since 2012. There's no feeling that, there's no way I could fully express the feeling that is. It's the energy, the momentum, the power, there's no words that can actually do it justice. But when this happened and the synchronicity that came from it, which was the Trinity story, the Trinity reclamation, when this hit, all of a sudden, a new frequency landed in my body. And I had chosen Overflow to be the template for the Exalt Mastermind and bringing the mission statement for the Exalt Mastermind, ascending mission, money, and impact to overflow. That was the assignment, done and done, clear and clear. Then this Trinity piece happened and landed in the field and everything hit. Last week, you guys might have seen the posts of me sobbing my heart out and dancing around. I had one of the greatest miracles of my life, peak experience of my life. I fell to the ground sobbing. I've never sobbed through my heart sphere, the cleansing. It was all of me, my entire life. From conception up until this point, through the future until I die, was present in that moment of gratitude, miraculous sobbing. And everything in my field ascended. Everything ascended. My mission, money, and impact soared to overflow in that moment. What I have the balls to say now that I have never had the balls to say before, because I wanted the evidence, because I was still down here trying to build safely and securely. There was that energy of like, I want to make sure I'm not delusional, because it's put me in a mental hospital before. I wanted to make sure that what I was doing was solid. I wanted to make sure that where I was leading people was fucking solid. I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing. And only in hindsight now do all of the dots connect that I see exactly the fucking path. Exactly the fucking path. And what I was doing at the time when the 6-figure years, I can take you to 6-figure years, no problem. No issue whatsoever. As long as you're not attached to the time, this is key, because the time is this. If you're attached to the time, you can't be up here. We have to trick ourselves to get over that. As long as you are all in and you're ready to go, I got you. Like, there is no issue. 6 figures, I got you. But I just got the 7-figure download. I just got the 7-figure year download. And this is what I'm excited to take you to. I got the 7-figure download. All right. This is the overflow. This is the energy we're playing with in 2026 and beyond and beyond and beyond and beyond. The conviction I have in the direction and the motion that we're moving in. The places, the gifts that I was given to lead through energetically, what I was given in order to be in service is greater than anything I've been given. And it's only because I did all of the other work. It's only because I focused for 4.5 years building this to get to this and move from here that all of a sudden, boom, all right, I'm free, let's go. The Trinity chapter, this deep, profound piece of soul reclamation, of heart reclamation, my heart field can hold anyone's dream and vision now, because I can hold my greatest dream and vision now. There's no rocking the calibration portal. I can hold anyone in any turbulence. When I look at the things that I've moved through and how I got here, I have no doubt of my capacity to hold anyone through their darkest moments. The only thing is, you gotta want it. And if you want it, and you're willing to do whatever it takes, and you know this is one life, and you got one life to live, and you want to fucking go all in, then I've got you. Like, there's no hesitation. So here's the thing. I'm going places really fast right now. There's an acceleration in my field. The evidence has come, the magic has come, the miracles has come. I'm completely anchored up here after going back and forth for a few years. Can I trust it? Can I trust it? Can I trust it? I trust it. I got my soul back. I got my mission back. I see it. And when I wobble, I have my mentor that holds me to higher standards, which makes me just more solid as a practitioner. And I can't emphasize that enough for you as a facilitator, as a coach, as a mentor. If you don't have a facilitator, coach, mentor in your field, you're not going to be as solid for your people. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. And this is why the belonging piece is so important, because it's not like it's hierarchy. It's that we belong to each other. We belong to a greater collective mission. And when you can feel where your seat is, figure out where to lock and load, you're golden. So I just got locked and loaded. And there's an opportunity for you to lock in with me right now. And there have been people that have locked in with me as I've been coming to 6 figures and sustaining 6 figures in 5-figure months. But that's not the same energy that we're playing with now that I'm not looking for sustainability, because that was what I was looking for before. Now it's about overflow. Now it's about how big can we play. Frequency first, the frequency landed. I understand the assignment. I know where I'm going. My job, my mission is to inform you, especially as a manifestor in human design, this is what's happening. So if you're feeling called to fucking go 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it is, this space is the space you want to be in. If I had met my mentor in 2012, if I had met her in 2017, I would be a decamillionaire by now. This is a conversation her and I have had. And in that conversation, she was like, this is why it is so important that you tell your people to lock in with you, because you got the download, you got the hit, I got the hit. So we're going now. So Exalt starts on Wednesday. If you connect to my heart, my journey, my story, it can't be about what I have. It can't be a thing that you want to take from me. It has to be you want to do this with me. It has to be you know I am your person. It has to be you know I see you, I get you, I feel you. We have similar paths. Whether it's, I was telling my mom, I was like, the women I work with all have a crease between our brow because we are thinkers. So whether you have the crease between your brow, whether you have traversed the underworld in the most insane ways that most people don't understand, whether you are just such a visionary and you have dreams that are bigger than most people would have the balls to dream, whatever it is, if you resonate with this field, it is my obligation, duty, assignment to inform you that there is a portal, there is a doorway that is opening for you in the Exalt Mastermind, and we start on Wednesday. And I really feel like the women that are coming in, the women that we have, who's locked and loaded, like we are assembling the dream team right now. And it's no fucking joke. Overflow is the frequency. The frequency lands, and then everything shapes and matter around it. So I want you in this. I want you in this. I want you in this. Together we rise. Like that's one of the things like people will say is it's lonely at the top. And it's like, it's not lonely at the top when you take everyone with you. Like, let's do this together. We could do it alone. Like there's no, of course we can do it alone. All of this we can do alone. We can do alone. We can go rogue, but it's not the same. It's not as fun. So anyone who's coming into my field, it's not because you need me. It's not because I have some solution for you. It's because you value what it is to calibrate with someone who can hold your dreams, that you'd rather do it with someone, have that heart connection. I mean, the vulnerability, this is also, I want to end with this piece. One of the reasons that I'm able to hold what I can hold now is because I finally thawed my heart. I finally broke through the deepest sister wounds I had of betrayal, of hurt. I got burned by so many clients, a handful of clients, enough clients, that it really made me wonder, can I keep my heart open and do this? And over the past year, it's like, fuck yes, I can. Like, fuck yes, fuck yes. Because we have to be willing to be hurt. We have to keep our heart open. Everything comes down to an open heart. That's the mission. Okay. I am so curious how this landed for you. Did you like my graphics? Comment below. All of the things. Send me a message about Exalt, because what we are doing over the next 6 months is insane. It's just insane. All right. I love you all so much. There's been so many people in and out, and there's so many people on right now, and I'm so grateful. Send me a message if you have any questions. I'll see you soon.